Hey, if you're watching after the fact and not live, we tried to do this a bit earlier, and my internet went out. Usually my issues are YouTube related, but the internet went down, and I know they are doing some construction down the street here. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I'm looking for excuses. I unplugged my modem and plugged it back in. I don't know. I don't know if it's stable. I have no idea if we're going to get conked out again in the middle of the show. Maybe it'll happen. I have no idea. Keep your fingers crossed. If it happens within like the first, 10 minutes of the show, I'll stop it. I'll just do my show from my phone today. Go out to my car or something and just do it from the phone, or do it from my couch, or, whatever. But unfortunate, but hey, these things happen. Hey, it's episode 94 of Mcrae Live. It is Friday, August the 21st, 2020. It's 11:44 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I am Dave Mcrae, coming to you live from the VoiceMann Studios in Toronto, Canada. And it's an all Q&A Friday today. So we're going to jump into it, but let me first say this. I want to thank Real Reveal, of course, in the chat room for picking up the last associate producer perk today for the It's Me, Billy Indiegogo campaign. And incredible stuff, man. It is amazing. Just 2 days ago, we were at 65%. We had actually dropped because of some unfortunate set of circumstances that had arose. But we are now sitting at 76%. We've gained 11% in 2 days. We are closing in on 80% funded with about 12 days left in the campaign. And I still have to add the $2,000 from the It's Me Billy-a-thon way back in July. I should be able to do that this afternoon. So keep your fingers crossed. It should be coming into me. I got a notification from Google saying, it's coming. So I'm like, all right, it's coming. So it should be in my account. I just checked before I went live again, and it's not there yet. So I'm hoping that, because it's still not even noon yet, that it'll be in there this afternoon. So as soon as it is, I will go through the process of myself making a donation to the campaign and adding it and watching the numbers go up, and then I'll make a social media post about that. So amazing stuff. We are sitting at right now, let's just go over here to the screen. Now, how's my audio? The last time I tried to do this before, the audio was garbage. So I'm hoping my audio is okay. Maybe it had something to do with the connection too earlier. Just give me a thumbs up, or like, yep, good, okay, perfect. Just let me know, chat, how it is before I continue. Because if it's crappy and it's choppy and I sound like a robot, I'll just go back to the other screen. Good. Okay, perfect. Thanks, Eddie. Appreciate it. Okay, so here's the total right now. 45,944 Canadian dollars, 503 backers. Says 13 days left, but really that'll be 12 in a couple of hours. And I still have to add the $2,000 to the campaign. So really that's at 47,944. We're closing in on 48,000. It'll be closer to 80% by the end of today, if that money goes into the account, which it should. And just a reminder, again, folks, we added a new perk the other day. Don't worry, we'll get to your questions. Just stand by. Come on, Dave. But just this new perk that we're really excited about. Here it is here. It is called the Private Advanced Screening Perk. There are 50 spots. We've sold 10 of them. This is your opportunity to see the movie before anybody else at a private advanced Zoom screening with myself and Bruce and the cast and the crew. We'll be able to watch the movie over Zoom together. You'll be able to see it as well. You'll be able to see the movie. You won't just, be watching us watch the movie. It's not like a two dudes thing. So you'll be able to see it. And it's going to be a blast. And with that perk, you, of course, also get the a special thanks in the end credits, the digital download package. What's the digital download package? Well, it's a high-resolution copy of the poster. It is a copy of the movie in full HD, and it is also a digital copy of the script. That's the digital download package. You also get the Blu-ray, the official poster, official one sheet, 24 by 36, and a special thanks IMDb credit, all for $225 Canadian. That's about 170, 171, depending on how our dollar fluctuates here, US. So we think that's a really awesome price point. So if you want to be one of the first 50 people to see It's Me, Billy before anybody else does and hang out with us for a Q&A, or watch the movie and a Q&A afterwards, because that's going to happen as well. You might want to get in on this because it's going to be awesome. Now, if you're camera shy, don't worry about it. You don't have to show your face. You can just show your avatar, right? Maybe a cool Black Christmas avatar or Michael Myers avatar or whatever avatar you want up. I mean, something that, of course, is appropriate. Okay, no, you know, you know what I'm saying? But that's cool too, because some people are a bit camera shy and they don't want to get on there. I don't know if I want to. That's okay. But we're hoping that the vast majority of people will be okay with showing their faces, because it will be wonderful to finally put some faces to some avatars and names that we see each and every day. So that's going to be really, really cool. So again, we've sold 10 out of 50, so there's 40 left and 12 days left in the campaign. Be private advanced screening followed by a Q&A with myself and Bruce and the cast and all this if you're in the US for like $170. Unbelievable. And if we can sell it out, I don't know if we will, but if we can, that'll get us really close to where we need to be for our goal. So really appreciate that. If you want to jump on that, by all means do. And of course, there's still lots of other perks there, still lots of other things that are available as well. Okay, let's get to, and of course, we'll talk about this later in the show as well. But Dave, you already talked about it. Yeah, but you know what? There's 12 days left in the campaign. Let's get to your questions. Let me just answer a super chat question from the other day that I missed, that I promised I would get to, and I believe this is the one. It's from Victor Charlie, and Victor Charlie says, "Hey Dave, one of my favorite Halloween scenes in H2 is H2's tracking shot through the back alleys. Haven't heard you mention it, so wanted to hear your thoughts." Well, before we were cut off earlier, I did already mention this, but let me mention it again. I like it. I do. I think it's really cool. But I think because there is already a tracking shot, arguably one of the best openings in the history of horror, with the original Halloween. The opening, of course, of the movie is a POV tracking shot, and it's arguably more impactful and more significant than the tracking shot in the alley in Halloween 2. So I think that's largely why that tracking shot, although good and, you know, it's good, it's cool, it's fine. A lot of cool little things that happen there. The barking dog, walking into the Elrod's house. I showed him 6 times. He's not human. I mean, you know, it's all that. It's cool. It's awesome. But I think it sort of gets lost in the shuffle because of just, you know, I mean, there are better examples of something like that. You can just point to the first movie, right? So, but yeah, no, I like it. It's cool. All right. And then of course there was, let me just go back and, I don't know if, I wonder if that's going to show up. Is it going to show up? It's not showing up. I'm hoping I don't know why it's not showing up. I'm hoping I didn't miss any super chats from the other stream. If I did, my apologies for that. The other stream meeting, of course, before we got knocked out. But here's Brandon Barry here, who says, thoughts on Ben Affleck coming back as Batman and joining Michael Keaton in a new Flash movie coming in June 2022. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't excite me because the rest of the DCEU doesn't excite me. So I just don't care. Like, I mean, I didn't particularly, I mean, I thought Batman v Superman I enjoyed it for what it was. I thought it was cool to see these Titans together, but it also could be a Last Jedi thing. And what I mean by that, not that Batman v Superman is like the Last Jedi, but what I mean is because I'm not emotionally invested into the mythology and into the lore and into the, and I enjoyed Batman v Superman probably more than the hardcore fan because I'm not picking up on the inconsistencies or the things that don't make sense in terms of the that a fan would, right? It's like there are a lot of people, a lot of casual Star Wars fans and a lot of casual movie-going fans really enjoyed The Last Jedi. But it's the hardcore fans like, no, that's not how the Force works. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of like what we were. And we're right. And of course, there are certain narrative and story structure issues with that movie too. I'm not just talking about fanboy expectations. So when it came to Batman v Superman, I was like, oh, I enjoyed that, but I'm not emotionally invested into it like a lot of people are. So if some people were to explain, like I might look at it through a different lens and be like, oh. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just not, I mean, cool, I guess. For those of you that really wanted, you know, Ben Affleck to come back, Batflick, whatever you're calling him, and that must be really cool to see him back because I know a lot of people really did like him as Batman, but it doesn't really have any, I'll be honest with you, I'm really more excited about seeing the Batman. I'm more excited about that. because it's an opportunity to start fresh and new and start with something that's really dark and, like the DCEU is a dumpster fire. Like it really is. Largely. In the big picture, it's a dumpster fire. So are you excited about Affleck? Well, no. But Dave, I'm not even excited for, the Snyder cut of Justice League. And it's largely because I'm not a really big fan of Snyder's movies. There's a couple that are okay, but I wasn't a huge fan of Man of Steel. Of course, now in retrospect, you look at Man of Steel and you're like, yeah, it's probably the best DCEU movie. Maybe that and Wonder Woman, right? But when it first came out, when Man of Steel first came out in 2013, I was like, it was cool. Like it was the best. Visually, it was the best Superman movie, we've ever got. And I like Henry Cavill as Superman, but I wasn't a big fan of Amy Adams as Lois Lane. I largely thought that they didn't have any chemistry at all. Like it was like two fucking deadwoods talking to each other. I didn't feel anything. Anyway, I could go on, but in retrospect, yeah, with everything else that's come out, you kind of look at the DCEU and go, oh, you're not that bad. So yeah, cool. I'm happy for those that are happy. Let me see here. Super chat comes in from Intel Wild. My man says, Dave, I sent in a super chat yesterday. My later one to Lynn. It said, best guest ever. Did you get it? Oh, yes, I did see that. Thank you for reminding me. Yes, you did. You did say that and said best guest ever. Yes, I did see that, but I saw it after the show had finished. So my apologies for that. Thank you for reminding me. Very appreciative of that. Real Reveal says, my super chat won't go through for some reason. It won't go through. I don't know. I've never sent a super chat to anybody in my life, so I'm not sure. I imagine that you click on it, show your support for Dave Mcrae. Let me click on this here. Oh, okay, that's cool. Super chat, click super chat. Oh, okay, that's how it works. So when you get to the part where you have the amount that you want to send, and you go, it says, for me, it says buy and send. What happens when you click that? What happens when you click it? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe just refresh your page. Try refreshing your page. Maybe that'll help. Evil Alex says, Snyder is my favorite modern director. Love Man of Steel and BVS Ultimate, Watchmen 300, and Dawn of the Dead. Ben is my favorite Batman. Own it, Evil. Own it. Own it, my man. Johnny T says, Dave, are you aware of any reason why Nick Castle wasn't recast as Myers for any of the sequels? I don't think there was any specific reason. I'm going to say this again, and I think it's important. I have said this before, but it bears repeating because, again, it's all about context and perspective, right? The reason why Nick Castle wasn't cast as Michael ever again is because largely, you only have the perspective of how good Nick was, or that he was the best Michael in retrospect. Because when the original Halloween came out, he was just a guy in a mask walking around. He was literally just walking around. And did he add his own little things? Sure. Okay. But nobody cared. Nobody even approached him for the sequel. He wasn't asked to be in the sequel. Now, in retrospect, because we have all the other movies and all the other iterations of Michael Myers, and, we can look at all the different masks and, oh my God, he wasn't, oh shit, what the fuck was going on? All these, oh my God, and, shoulder pads. Well, now we can look back at that and be like, oh, maybe we should have cast, but not in 1981. Nobody was like, we got to get Nick Castle. But no, he was just a dude in a mask. And nobody realized how integral, that performance would become. You know what I mean? Because we just didn't have the perspective of it. He's just a dude in a mask. So no, he wasn't asked. And I think the reason is because nobody cared. Nobody saw how important it was. But now, when 2018 came out, it was, well, now, of course, it's a little too late because he's, in his 70s now. But certainly, I think that was, yeah, that's why. That's why. Nobody cared. Nobody saw the value of it. Julian Salgado, I think I'm saying that right. Salgado. I think that's it. Hey Dave, how well do you think Black Widow is going to do if it gets released on VOD? I think it's going to be charging $30. These movies will always make something. But what, I don't know. It really is in relation to their budget, right? I mean, and it's inevitable that it's a very interesting time for movie theaters and streaming and VOD. And all I can say is that, I mean, the business model is going to have to change drastically if Hollywood believes that you can spend $250 million making a movie, release it to streaming, and make that much money. And well, you'd have to make more than that. I mean, 250 is the production budget, another 250 for marketing. I mean, to break even on a $250 million movie, you'd probably have to make $600 or $700 million, So, I mean, and to make that on streaming, I mean, in theory, if you can make that on streaming, especially if they're releasing it on their own streaming services, right? Like Disney movies, like big Marvel movies, they just release on Disney Plus. Well, then all of that goes to them, and you don't have to pay the theater chains and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, yeah, if you can make that much money, then yes, it might be better. But making $1 billion+ on streaming, it's like, if you make a movie for $5 million, you'll make that back on streaming in your sleep, but it's these tentpole large blockbuster movies that we're so used to and so, spoiled with, that budgets are going to have to drop unless they figure it out. I mean, the chances of Black Widow making $1 billion on streaming when I can buy it for $30 and invite 50 of my friends over and watch it, so 50 people are watching it for the price of 3. I mean, it's a very interesting time. It's a very interesting time. So I think Black Widow will do fine, because I think a lot of people are going to want to see it. But is it going to be a $1.5 or $1.3 billion movie on streaming? I don't know, man. I mean, millions of people would have to buy that thing. Like 60, 70 million people would have to spend $30. I don't know. I don't know. It's a very interesting time. A very interesting time indeed. Let me see here. Cavern of Terror sends in a $9.99 super chat. Thank you very much, Cavern of Terror. And he says, "Hey, Dave, congrats on the progress on It's Me, Billy." Well, thank you very much. We just launched our IGG Indiegogo campaign for our Scream fan film, He Knows Your Name. We hope for similar success on a smaller budget. Well, congratulations, my friend. Congratulations on that. I think that is amazing. It's never an easy thing. A lot of these types of things are timing. Sometimes you can release a campaign at a certain time of year and it doesn't do very well. And then sometimes you can release it at another time of year and it does very well. We contemplated not releasing our campaign at all this year. I mean, that was on the table. We thought about, I don't know if it was seriously on the table, but it definitely was an option that was there. Bruce and I had discussed because we didn't know where this, pandemic thing was going to go. And it was likely going to be going into 2021. And we thought, well, do we, don't we? I don't know. But we had worked so hard. There were so many people that were so excited. It was the summertime. Things were starting to sort of ease up a bit. People's moods were starting to change. The weather was nicer. Some people were starting to go back to work. And we thought, fuck it, let's give it a shot. Because it's the kind of thing where it's like, it's always going to be nerve-wracking no matter when you release it because you just don't know what's going to happen, right? So we said, okay, let's do it. We did. And all things considered, we've had great success. And like I said, we're closing in on 80% of our budget. That's about $48,000 Canadian. That's about $36,000 US. So, I mean, the feedback and the support has been amazing, you know, and we appreciate each and every one of you who has contributed to the campaign. I don't care who you are. I don't care what color you are, what sex you are. I don't give a frog's fat ass about that shit. So, you know, people just believing in the project and supporting is amazing. And so that's really cool, man. I wish you the best of luck. You know, he knows your name. I like that. I like that name. That's pretty cool. I like that it's not just called like Scream. You know, it's called He Knows Your, like, it's yeah, it's cool. I like that. And I wish you the best of luck, you know? Yeah, it can be tricky, man. You know, expect over these next few days or these next few months, you know, things are going to be stressful and you're going to be up and down. You're going to, you know, but just keep at it, you know, just keep at it. Just keep it out there. Keep it out there. You know, it's that nice balance of you want to keep reminding people that it's out there, but you don't want to be too annoying about it either. You know, you don't want to turn people off. You know what I mean? You want to save that. I'm about to get really annoying here in like the last couple of weeks of the campaign because there's only 2 weeks left, right? You know what I mean? So, maybe the first week and then like the last couple of weeks is when you like go pedal to the metal. You know what I mean? But I wish you the best of luck, man. I really do. It's not easy, and just keep positive, you know, and we'll see what happens, right? Let the chips fall where they may. Let the chips fall where they may. Let me see here. Anonymous says, do you believe that Wes Craven's New Nightmare killed the Nightmare franchise even more after Freddy's dead, or do you think New Nightmare was more of a revival? I don't think New Nightmare was a revival in anything, because when New Nightmare came out in 1994, the slasher subgenre was dead. It had been dead for a couple of years. Like I said, I mean, the golden age of the slasher subgenre is about 78 to 86, about 86, right? That's when the trajectory is going up, right? You've heard me say that. And then once you hit 86, the turn begins to happen. Now, like I've said many times when I talk about this, I'm not saying that shitty slasher movie, like it went like this and 86 was terrible and 87 was terrible. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's when it began to change, began to go the other way, so that by the time you get to 1990, 91, 92, it's at the bottom, right? So from 86 on, we're actually going down. From 78 to 86, we're actually going up. And you could make the argument and say 85. You could do that. So when it came to 94, one of the reasons, not the only reason, I mean, he's a pretty smart, intelligent guy, but one of the reasons why he decided to make this meta sort of approach, this cerebral approach to A Nightmare on Elm Street is because, well, everything's been done before. You know, what the hell am I going to do, right? And doing direct sequels to older movies and negating other sequels wasn't a thing in 1994. You know, it probably would have been laughed at. You know, I mean, you would have been laughed out of the building. So he came up with this sort of interesting kind of meta sort of approach that was almost a precursor to some degree, like kind of like a test run for Scream. And what I mean by that is Scream it's not cerebral, but it's got sort of a self-awareness about it, right? It's got it's more spoofy than New Nightmare, but it's got that self-awareness, that commonality with New Nightmare. So, you know, no, I don't think it did. I think because it was already dead. It was already dead. The slasher subgenre died in like 91, 92. It was dead. And then it was revived with sort of a last kind of, you know, mainstream kind of impact with Scream in the late 90s. And they still exist. Slashers still exist, but they're not having the same mainstream cultural impact like they did 20-something years ago. Now, you could say, what about Halloween 2018? Well, yeah, but that's Halloween. That's a proven IP. I'm talking about new shit, right? So it's been some time. It's been some time since we've seen a new slasher that has taken the box office by storm or embedded itself into the, you know, and you could say, what about Terrifier? Well, yes, but again, that's a B movie. It didn't get a large theatrical release. You know, I'm talking about like the Screams, the I Know What You Did Last Summers, the Urban Legends, the Faculties. It was sort of the late 90s, early 2000s was kind of our last sort of hurrah with that kind of thing. Not that the Faculty's a slasher, but I think you know what I mean. All right, let me see here. Alec Shambach? Am I saying that right? Alec Shambach? Hopefully I'm saying that right, buddy. Hey, Dave, given how H-18 ran late into the night, will it be believable for the next two films to take place the same night or early morning? Well, I don't think we really knew how late it went into the night. Now, I do know that there's a couple of moments where you do see clocks, okay? There's a moment when Vicky is walking down the stairs and you see the clock behind her. Now, there's no minute hand, so maybe the clock, maybe it's the wrong time. You know, like we don't see a minute hand going like this, right? So, and I think it says like 9:45 or something like that, or 9:30, or, you know, it's a little, or maybe it's earlier than that. But so, and I do know that we do get a brief glimpse of the phone on, or of Karen's phone. And I think it says something like 11:30 or 10:30 or something like that. But what's crazy, and I was the first one to discover this, by the way, I was a little credit for that. I don't know how I noticed this. I was watching it. I think I was watching the movie, and because it happens very fast, because it's an insert shot. It's, you know, it's that's all it is. It's an insert shot of, you know, her phone, of the phone in her hand, and, you know, she's doing this, and I thought I saw something, so I paused it and went back, and I was like, oh my God, the wrong date is on it. If you look at Karen's phone, it does say like 11:30 or, you know, whatever it is, but it actually says November 2nd. Yeah, it says November 2nd. So, I mean, it's probably a prop phone, and they didn't count on anybody actually picking up on that date. So, I mean, you know, can we really trust the time? If the date is wrong, can we trust the time? I don't know. So, no, I don't think it's going to be a big deal. I don't think it's going to be a big deal because, I mean, let's say Halloween Kills picks up at like 11:30 midnight and goes for a couple of hours. And then H Ends picks up at like 3 a.m., you know, and goes from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, I don't think it's going to be, I think we can suspend our disbelief a little bit and be like, yeah, I could picture this happening all in one. Look, if Halloween and Halloween 2 can happen all in one night, I think these movies could happen all in one night. You know what I mean? All depends on the pacing, sort of, you know, and how believable the setup is, I guess. Let me see here. Blonde 1987 says, hey, Dave, what's your favorite Tupac album? I don't have one because I'm not really familiar with his music. I mean, I obviously know who he is, and I know I would probably know a song to hear it if I heard it. But what's your favorite Tupac album? It sounds like something somebody would say because they know I don't listen to Tupac. What's your favorite Tupac album? What's yours? Why don't you tell me yours? What's your favorite Tupac album? Let's see here. Maka525 says, Cobra Kai is a sequel series that follows the movie. Do you think films like Beverly Hills Cop and others should go that route instead of a new movie? Look, you know, it's like, I don't know, you know, because what resonates with some people may not resonate with others. You know, certain properties are designed for it. You know, Cobra Kai is brilliant because it's not really about, or it's not just about, what's his face there? Machio and, you know, and his arch nemesis, right? Yeah, they're in it, but it's not really about them. It's about the kids, and it's about the group, and it's about the two sides, and there's so much more going on that you could probably have a whole 3 or 4 episodes without the 2 lead guys, and nobody would give a fuck because everything else is so strong. I don't know, like, could you do that with Beverly Hills Cop? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I just think that, and I don't even know if a Beverly Hills Cop movie would do well now. I mean, it would be great to see Eddie Murphy back. That would be great. But I don't know. Will it? Would it? I don't know. Maybe. It's all I'd have to know what's the premise, you know, and what's the premise? You know, what are the characters? Just the idea of it. Who knows? It's always a crapshoot. I have no idea. Is there potential there? Yeah, I guess there is. But not everything is like that. Robert Thidoff says, Dave, which sequel was the closest in quality when compared to the original Jaws 2 or Halloween 2, 1981? I would say probably Halloween 2 is the closest. And that's only because you have the same writer, you have the same actors, no, let's say main, no, I take that back. But you do have the same DP, and I mean, but it is different too. It's a good comparison. Jaws 2, I think, is a great sequel, because I think it sort of, it takes what Jaws is a masterpiece, but Jaws 2 is what's the right word? It's like, it's the kind of sequel, Jaws 2 is the kind of sequel where it's like, if this was real life, I think why it resonates with a lot of people, at least for me, is that I sit back and I think, and the reason why Jaws 2, I think for most people is like, you know what, that's actually not bad. Especially when you watch the masterpiece that is Jaws. It's like, oh, come on, how can you? But I think it's largely because, at least for me, that if this was real life, and if I was thinking about what if the shark came back, or not that shark, but a shark, right? Just as big. What would happen? Like, how would that affect the characters? What is the scenario there? Because you're not going to do the same thing. You know what I mean? The only thing that Jaws 2, I think, was missing was probably Matt Hooper. I think if you could have convinced Richard Dreyfuss to do it, because I can't remember why he didn't do it, whether he was doing something else or whether he just didn't want to. But because one of my favorite scenes in the movie is when Scheider is trying to convince him that the shark is back, right? And he's saying things like, listen, I'm telling you and everybody in this, or I'm telling you and everybody here that that's a shark, because I know what a shark looks like, because I've seen one up close. And you better do something about this one, because I don't intend to go through that hell again. I love that. And it's like, yeah, that's what he would be like, and of course you got the skeptical mayor, and I don't know, and then he gets fired. It just feels like a really organic progression. It's not as good as Jaws, but it feels kind of like, well, okay, what if? Kind of like, yeah, that's believable. I believe the different scenarios and situations that they presented seemed plausible to me. It seemed like a natural progression for everybody's arc. The kids are a bit older, they want a little more independence. They want to go out on their own. Chief Brody gets fired. The mayor is still kind of skeptical. Yeah, like I think it's, and yeah, it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. It's kind of like Halloween 2, but I think Halloween 2 might be, although now that I say that, actually, now that I'm thinking about this more, that's a tough one, man. I got to think about that. It might be Jaws 2. Let me think about that a bit more. But that's a great question. Yes, Darren, thank you. Dreyfuss was doing Close Encounters, unnaturally, of course, both 78 films. Yes, he offered to do a cameo. The director snubbed it. Really? Why would you do that? I guess maybe the director thought, listen, you're either in it or you're fucking not in it. And, to some degree, I think because Dreyfuss's character was so strong and so integral to the first movie. I mean, obviously in the book, spoiler alert, by the way, but in the book, I think his character dies. And I think you kind of have to in the book because Hooper and Brody's wife have an affair. So it's kind of like, yeah, he's got to go. He's got to die. But you know what? I mean, who knows what the reason was, but certainly from a filmmaking standpoint, from a story perspective, I could understand now to snub him is ridiculous. I think that's stupid. But maybe to say, hey, you know what? No, I think, we'd rather you kind of there and, but I think he made the right choice. I mean, to work with Spielberg, Close Encounters, but yeah, that's, that to me is the only thing that's missing. That's the only thing to me that's missing for Jaws 2 would be somebody like Hooper in the movie, because you're not going to capture the same film. You're just not. It's a masterpiece. It's a masterpiece built on character and nuance and theater of the mind and, you know, suspense. You're just not going to capture it. You know, you're not going to do that again. So Jaws 2, yeah, probably that one. Great questions though, guys. Let me see. Let me just scroll back here. I don't think I... Scroll. Chris Baber, thoughts on Tucker and Dale versus Evil and Will? Two dudes possibly feature this film. Thoughts on... I don't know what you're talking about. Tucker and Dale? Unless are you talking about character name? Tucker and Dale versus Evil and Will, two dudes. Is that a... Let me just Google this. Oh. I've never heard of this movie. But just by the poster, it makes me want to watch it. I've never heard of this movie. How could I have not heard of this movie? Well, it's probably because I don't usually watch movies that look like this. Let's just put it that way. I'll have to watch it, Chris, and then I'll let you know. I'll watch it, and then I'll let you know whether we will, whether we'll feature it on Two Dudes. That's funny. Victor Charlie. Hey, Victor. Oh, by the way, I did read your super chat from the other day at the beginning of the show, so you may want to go back and check that out. Because I think it was you, the chat that I missed. Victor Charlie says, DM, in reference to your H-18 sequel concept Q&A video, do you still have interest in doing a full cinematic voiceover production of that concept? Sure, but unfortunately to do that would cost money and time. And, you know, if somebody wants to put in some thousands of dollars to put that thing together, okay. But, you know, I'd have to hire, you know, the voice actors. It's my time. It's the assembly of all the sound effects and the music and that takes a lot of time. So, if somebody wants to front the cash, sure, why not? But I'm also extremely busy right now with It's Me, Billy, and this channel and voiceover work and all that kind of stuff. So, it takes a lot of time to do that. But I'm not adverse to it, though. I think, you know, it might be kind of interesting and fun. Let me see. Vanderhoff66FU says, hey, Dave, I watch every Mcrae live. Well, thank you very much. Oh, and Two Dudes. Every Mcrae live and Two Dudes. Tony, thanks you very much. I had some custom stuff made for your channel. Very cool. 2 boxes on their way. Maybe on the lookout to your P.O. box. Well, thank you so much, buddy. I really, really appreciate that. I'll take a look out for it. I just renewed my P.O. box the other day. So yeah, I'll check it out. I will go up there. I have to go up there probably not today, maybe tomorrow. I'm out tomorrow. So maybe if I think of it while I'm out, I will check tomorrow. How long ago did you send it? If it's coming from the States, which I assume it is, or wherever it's coming from, it may take a bit longer than normal because of the whole border issues and stuff. So, but I'll keep my eye out for it though. Thanks very much. SPC Bird 317 1993 says, thank you for the super chat. Hey Dave, keep up the awesome work. Very talented. Well, thank you. Who is your dream interview with anyone from Halloween? Ooh, that's a good question. Dream interview anyone from Halloween. Well, I mean, I think, you know, I think anybody would probably say John Carpenter, but I mean, you know, the likelihood of that happening is the likelihood of me running down the street this afternoon completely naked, yelling, I'm a banshee, which is 0, by the way. So, I mean, you know, that pipe dream is probably not a reality just because John Carpenter is, you know, he's a certain personality type. He's got a certain, you know, and he'd want to be paid for it naturally, probably, which I understand, of course. Some guests do, some guests don't. And it would probably be something handsome as well. You probably want an appearance fee, which I'm okay with. I mean, that's what the money to this channel goes towards, are things like that. But how much that would be, I have no idea. You know, I have no idea how much that would be. So, but I mean, that's sort of the holy grail of interviews, right? If you were to do that, who knows? I mean, you know, you get them liquored up and I don't know, who knows? You know, but I'd love to get, you know, PJ Souls on. I'd love to get Nancy Kai's on, you know her better as Nancy Loomis, of course. Tommy Lee Wallace, who, you know, would be fun to have on. But the thing with me is, though, too, when you approach Halloween alum, especially when, and again, I don't mean any disrespect when I say this. This is just the facts, right? When you approach certain actors or certain people that they're most known for one particular thing, right? So Tommy Lee Wallace, although he's done other things, of course, he's best known, most known for Halloween. There's very little that I mean, I like to come at it from the perspective, I mean, I will ask, your standard questions that people like asking and hearing, of course. But if I'm going to get somebody on like that, I want to make sure that I'm asking things that either they've never been asked before or rarely asked, because I think that's important, because fans generally tend to ask the same things over and over again, and they've answered the same. I mean, Nick Castle, what was it like to be in the mask? He's probably answered that 5,000 times. And like a champion and a pro, he'll answer it like it's the first time, because that's what you do. That's what you do, because it may be the first time they're asking that question. Do you know what I mean? Even though you listening have heard it 5,000 times. So, I mean, that's what you do. But I always like to make sure that I have something new. And because, again, the point I'm making is because a lot of these Halloween alum, unless you're Dean Cundy, a lot of the Halloween alum don't have, a vast portfolio with other really amazing things that the general public is interested in. You go to Dean Cundy, we can talk about Halloween, we can talk about Jurassic Park, we can talk about Who Framed Roger Rabbit, we can talk about Back to the Future 1, 2, and 3, we can talk about Apollo 13, we can talk about Escape from New York, The Fog. There's so much. There's so much. I mean, we could do a whole fucking show on Back to the Future. Just that. But when you get to people like Nick Castle or Nancy Kyes or PJ Souls, you got Carrie in there, of course, with PJ. But I'm just saying that there are certain Halloween alum that is the height of their, of their pop culture fandom. So because of that's not a slight. It's not a slight. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm just saying that's the reality, right? So, but because of that, a lot of fans tend to talk about the same things to them. They only ask them about the same one thing because there's not a lot of other things to talk about. So whenever if I were to have some Halloween alum on, I would always like to make sure that I'm asking those questions, but that we talk about their careers and we talk about, certain things and anecdotal things that they want to talk about that maybe is interesting or, and ask them just really interesting questions. So, and of course, John Carpenter would definitely be one of those guys that has a plethora of things to talk about. But it's amazing how many interviews you see with him that are all Halloween. And I'm like, dude, get off Halloween. You got The Thing, you got Escape from New York, The Fog, Escape from LA, Ghosts of Mars, They Live, Big Trouble in Little China, In the Mouth of Madness, Village of the Damned, The Ward, you got Body Bags, Cigarette Burns, you got The Invisible Man, you got... Ask him about filmmaking, his process. Ask him about, Jesus, leave Halloween alone. Just because it's so redundant, you know what I mean? But people love it. People are obsessed, So, but yeah, Carpenter, Kyes, PJ Souls. I'm thinking about reaching out to Mickey as well, seeing if I can get him on, because that might be kind of fun. Because you, for those of you that have not met Mickey, he is awesome. I'm talking about Mickey Yablans, who played Richie in the original Halloween, of course, son of Erwin Yablans. And Mickey, through the 80s, he had bit parts in certain films. He was in A Nightmare on Elm Street 4 as well. And anyway, I've gotten to know him fairly well over the last couple of years. And he had me and my girlfriend over for dinner the last time we were in LA. And that was a lot of fun. And it's up on my channel, but that's... the videos that I have of like the original reel-to-reel of the, an original reel-to-reel of an original recording of the Halloween theme. He just busted it out like somebody bust out a piece of pie. I'm sitting there and he's like, I'll be back in a second. So he goes upstairs and he comes back down and he lays down an original shot list, an original script from Halloween. Original, like not copied, like original. And an original reel of an original recording of the original Halloween theme. And I'm like, you can't just bust this out. You can't, like, do I need gloves or, what's going on? Anyway, he's a sweetheart of a guy. His wife is absolutely fantastic. His family is amazing. And so I might try, and he's funny as fuck. He is funny as fuck. I couldn't stop laughing through the whole evening. So he'd be cool to have on as well. I don't know if he'd want to do it, but he'd be a lot of fun because he's just a sweetheart of a guy, and his family's amazing. So yeah, just things like that, would be cool. Curtis would be cool too. Jamie Lee Curtis would be another holy grail, but again, the chances of her, I think she's more likely to do it than Carpenter. I think she's more likely because I think she just has more of a softer personality. I think she's just more personable, let's say. So I think, I think it's marginal. I don't think she has any interest in doing that. But I think it's more likely. I think you could convince Jamie Lee to do it over John Carpenter. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I got some good shows coming up, and I'm lining up some interesting guests along the way. Some things may surprise you. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let me see here. Frank Riker sends in a very generous super chat. Thank you so much, Frank. I appreciate that. Dave, I was in high heels shopping with Blum. Of course you were, Frank. Of course you were. And I got him to donate a perk to you. Well, thank you so much. He has generously donated 1,000 copies of Black Christmas 2019, signed by the janitor cleaning the cutting room floor of the movie for $10,000 apiece. Yes, Frank, my man. Where's the rim shot? There you go, Frank. I love it. He is so nice. That Jason Blum, and the fact that you were in high heels with Jason Blum. I want a photo of Frank and Jason Blum in high heels walking down the street. That's what I want. Shopping. That's amazing. Frank, you are awesome. Seriously, I mean that. Oh, sincerely too. Scott Lightfoot sends in a super chat. Sorry, I thought that said 44. I was like, whoa. Hey Dave, have you seen the new Halloween 78 4K Best Buy Steelbook? I have. The artwork is awesome. Will you be picking it up on release day? I might. It all depends. See, I'm kind of, and I don't know if I'm getting to that age where I'm the get off my lawn guy. But I look at it and I'm like, well, that's really cool. Yeah, I might pick it up, but I don't think I'm going to rush to get it. And if it sells out, I don't have it. Okay, no big deal. Because, if it's the exact same movie with the exact same special features and the exact same this and there's nothing new, which there probably isn't, because there's not a lot more they could release about the original Halloween that hasn't already been released on Blu-ray in a special features. Like there's little bits and pieces that pop up every now and then that I see on YouTube or being shared and I'm like, oh, I've never seen that before, but it's very far and few between. So, and if there is something new, it's like, oh, it's the one new thing or something. So I'm like, it's the same movie, and I already have it on 4K. Yeah, but don't you want the Steelbook? And I'm like, yeah, maybe if I was 25, maybe, but 41, I'm like, oh, I don't know. I'd rather spend $30 on something else, $30 on something else. But who knows? It is Halloween and I do frequent Best Buy fairly frequently. So if I'm in there and I see it, the temptation may be too much. It may be too much. Who knows? It is cool though. The artwork is definitely cool. Cobra Dojo sends in a super chat, £5. Thank you very much, buddy. Says, hi, Dave. If Brandon Lee was still alive, do you think Johnny Depp would be playing the roles Brandon turns down? I sometimes do. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Johnny Depp. Oh, I've never been able to take Johnny Depp seriously. He's too emo for me. And that doesn't mean that he's not a talented actor. He is talented. There's some movies he's done, like The Astronaut's Wife. I quite enjoyed him with, I think that was Charlize Theron, I think. And there's certain roles that he's been in, like the From Hell or whatever it was. That was pretty, I think he was in that. That was pretty good. But I find he's always in these movies that requires his character to be so eccentric, and flamboyant and weird. And I'm just like, why is he just not playing like a cop? Like, why is he just not? I just want to see him do something normal, and but I think he loves that. He loves playing these eccentric characters. He loves being weird and avant-garde and mysterious and like, I'm Johnny Depp. He fucking lives. He just loves it. He loves it. He loves the attention. So I have a hard time taking him seriously. I'm not. I don't dislike him, but I can't say that I can't say I'm a fan, but I think he's talented. I think he's so talented that he should be doing more than just the fucking weird shit that he does, as far as I'm concerned. Donnie Brasco. Yeah, that's right. That's right, David. Yeah, he was great in that. He was great. I want to see more of that. Not necessarily that, but just do other things. Stop being these flamboyant, eccentric, weird individuals in makeup all the time. It's just so strange to me. Let me see. Crystal Lake Counselor 1977 says, hey, Dave, if Halloween 4 and 5 didn't have the rights to use the Shatner mask, why did the theatrical poster have them? The Halloween 4 was a Kirk mask, by the way. It was. And when you see the mask come into frame, that was the unpainted mask with the pink hair, or the blonde hair, I should say. That's a Kirk mask. You can tell it's a Kirk mask, but it's a Kirk mask that hasn't been treated. It hasn't been spray painted. The eye holes haven't been cut. The hair hasn't been painted. It's just like, and I mean, that's incompetence. I do not understand it. I do not understand that. I just don't understand how that made it in. I have no idea. And I know the stories. I know the stories. But I'm sorry, I have a very difficult time believing that nobody on set was like, oh, wait a minute. Fuck off. No way. Nope. No. I don't buy it. If it was like, I would buy it more if it was it was another Michael Myers mask. It wasn't the same one, But it's just more of I don't know, because I don't know the legalities of, because one's print and one's print and one is movies, right? One's actually a different medium. So and yeah, how that was used and whether or not certain I don't know, to be honest with you. I'd have to look into it. I'm speculating, and I have a lot of things going around in my head, but I don't want to give you information that it's true information, but I don't want to give you unnecessary information that is not complete, and then you fill in the blanks and then run with that. So I'm always very careful with what I say. And when I don't know something, I say I don't know, and that I have to look into that a bit more. But I do know that they're two different mediums. So, I mean, that might play into it, and how it was utilized, and because, you can't really tell. And yeah, there's a lot of things that are going through my head, of how something like that would work. So, I will look into it if I think of it. It's a good question though. Good question. Very good question. Oh, I see somebody's, what's going on here? Robert Gaming. Robert Gaming is spamming. That is why he was put into a timeout. Thank you very much, Darren. Appreciate that. Robert Gaming, yes, no need to spam. No need to spam, Robert. Goomba Johnny, I love it. I've been watching a lot of older Dave Mcrae Halloween 2018 videos. Well, that's cool. It's been a long time. Can you say it? Hey, folks, how you doing? Dave Mcrae here. Yes, I can. Hey, folks, how you doing? Dave Mcrae here. I should start doing that more. I stopped doing it, but I should start doing it more. Whenever I do a standalone video on my channel, which I admit isn't that often anymore because we're doing all these live shows, I always open with that. So you can go watch some of the more recent standalone videos I've done where it's not live, and I do that. And I think just the other day I opened my live stream saying that. I want to bring that back. I want to bring it back. I want to bring it back on more of a consistent basis, because I do know that it became sort of my calling card. A lot of people were saying that. So yeah. Wayne Ford says, I miss the standalone. Yeah, they're fun. But you know, the thing is, Wayne, is that what people have to understand is that it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort to put those together. And, you know, this is it just takes a lot of time. There's the filming of it. There's the research of it. Then there's the filming of it. Then there's the editing of it, right? Then there's the posting of it. You know, sometimes depending on the video that I was doing, sometimes it would take me, honest to goodness, about 5 or 6 hours to do one video. That's making sure I have all the information correct that I want to talk about. That's shooting the video, that stops and starts, because sometimes you flub up or you say something incorrectly or you catch yourself and then you're like, oh, wait a minute, am I right about that? I got to double check that. So you have to stop and then you got to piece all those clips together, and then you got to add the intro and the extra, and then you got to upload it. Or first you got to save it, depending how long it is. It'll take like, half an hour and then you got to upload it. I mean, it takes a long time. And when you're doing that on the regular, you're doing that 4 or 5 times a week while actually doing your, other job, right? Because this isn't my job, you know what I mean? So it just became easier as my channel started to grow and gain traction. And it became easier to move into the live stream space. That doesn't mean that I won't do more standalones, because I do like doing them. But it just became more easier. Because I can do this for an hour and a half and then it's done, and I don't have to, piece anything together. I don't have to save it and then upload it. And the only shitty thing that can happen is if, like what happened earlier, the internet went out, you know what I mean? Or YouTube fucks up and you got to start again, but it's just become easier, so it's just really about scheduling and time. But you know what? I've done 94 episodes now. We'll get to 100. We'll finish off the year, and who knows? Maybe this show will go on a bit of a break, and I'll do some standalones. Who knows, right? I mean, I can always do it. It's just really about time, especially with It's Me, Billy, Dylan's New Nightmare. It was really about time. So, but I'm not adverse to doing them again. Of course not. Let me see here. Wait a second. Okay. Make sure we're still on. We are. I was worried there for a minute. I was like, are we on? We're on. Let me see. I don't think I've missed any super chats, but I'm going to go back and double check. Let me just refresh this here and double check. No, I think Cobra Dojo was the last one. So I think we are good. We are good. Let's go over to the campaign here. And just another reminder for those of you that are watching, folks, our Indiegogo campaign has had an incredible bounce back. We really appreciate everybody who has come to us. Let me just refresh the page here, see where we are. I just want to refresh this and see where we are. Okay, look at that, folks. We have crossed $46,000 Canadian. We are sitting at $46,174 Canadian, 504 backers with 13 days left. That'll be 12 days in a couple of hours. And the perk that I really want to stress, of course, you can pick up any perk you want that's still available, of course. But the perk that I really want to stress is the one we added the other day, which, of course, is this amazing perk right here. And it looks like, yes, somebody picked up that perk. Amazing. 11 out of 50. So there's 39 available. This is the private advanced screening perk. We're really excited about this. We launched it the other day. There's less than 2 weeks left. If we can sell this fucking thing out, we'll be very close to what we need. But I mean, even if we can get to 30, is great, right? Any amount is great, but if we can keep going, that is awesome. And this is, you can be one of 50 people to watch an advanced screening, private screening of It's Me, Billy, when the movie, of course, is ready. So it probably won't be till next May or June, if we can shoot the movie this year, of course, because that's our goal. But who knows what's going to happen with COVID, right? So we do have to be sort of flexible that way. We ask our donors to be flexible as well, because it is unprecedented times right now. But certainly we are always keeping you guys updated in case you haven't noticed. So, but this is a really cool perk, great price point, $225 Canadian. That's about $170, $171 US. And what you get it, of course, as well, you get this a special thanks in the end credits. You get a digital download package. That's the movie in full HD digitally. You get a high resolution copy of the poster, and you also get a digital copy of the script. You get the Blu-ray. You get an official one sheet of the poster, 24 by 36, and an IMDb special thanks credit as well. All of that in addition to attending a private advanced screening over Zoom with myself and Bruce and the cast and crew of It's Me, Billy. All for $225 Canadian, $170 US. Pretty darn cool. And there's 39 available. 11 out of 50 have been claimed. Amazing. You guys are amazing. Frank Riker, Dave doing math. I'm doing math, buddy. And math was my worst subject in school. Math and French. French might have been worse. So 46,174. And that is before, again, if the money goes into my account today, which it is supposed to, I will add $2,000 on top of that to make it 48,174. And that $2,000 is not my money. That's the money that comes from the It's Me Billy-a-thon that was held on the 25th of July. Finally, I got a message from Google saying that the money should be in my account today. It was not there before I went live. Once we are done the show, I will check. And it should go in there at some point this afternoon. And then once it is, I will make that donation to the campaign and then make the announcement over social media. So, I'm looking at this and even though we're not quite there yet, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, like you guys are fucking amazing. Like, and I mean that, like I had no idea what it was going to be like, But seriously, that is amazing. I had no idea how much we were going to raise because it's Black Christmas, it's Black Christmas. And, yeah, people know about it, but it's not Halloween. It's not Scream. It's not Elm Street. It's not Friday the 13th. This is amazing. And what this shows here is not just people's desire to see a Black Christmas fan film, because I don't think the desire or demand was really there. Maybe now it is, but what this says is the desire and the belief in us to bring it to life. And I don't know if I've ever been so humbled in my life. It's a big responsibility, but I like it. This is the shit that we live for, is this kind of shit, hey, yes. Hey, we've got the funding. Oh, yes. Okay. Yes. Now that doesn't mean that everybody's going to like the movie, right? There's no guarantee that you're going to like the movie. I remember when I worked for a video store when I first left college, and I had this old guy that came back to the store. And it was late at night. I think it was Saturday at like 11:30 or something. And I'm working and he comes in. He's like, he slams down the DVD because we had just started renting movies on DVD at this time. And he slammed down the DVD and he's like, I don't want to watch it. Or no. He said, I want my money back. And I'm like, oh, I was like, is there something wrong with the disc? Is it, is there something? He's like, no, it's just a piece of shit movie. And I said, oh, well, sir, we can't give your money. Like there's no guarantee you're going to like the movie. Like if there's something wrong with the disc, if it's scratched, I can replace it with another one. I can give you a freebie or, whatever. But if you just didn't like it, I can't give you your money back. He's like, whoa, you fucking, he threw up a fit and then he left. So that's kind of funny. So again, I can't guarantee that you guys are going to like what we dish out, but hopefully you will. And to have this kind of belief in the project is amazing. It truly is amazing. So again, thank you to each and every one of you that have donated to the campaign, that will continue to donate, or maybe will donate for your first time over these next 12 or 13 days. Just awesome stuff. So I just wanted to remind people of that perk, that advanced screening perk is pretty darn cool. And it's going to be amazing to have everybody in a virtual room together watching this movie with the cast and crew. And there's also a Q&A afterwards as well. There's a Q&A afterwards. So this Zoom thing, like this private thing, is not like a 20-minute thing. Like, we wait for everybody to come in, we welcome everybody. It's like a screening. It'll probably be like an hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours. I don't know. I can't promise that, but I'm saying like, it's not going to just be like a 10-minute thing. So it'll be a lot of fun. Let me go back to my other screen here. There we are. Hey. All right, let's keep this thing rolling here. Let me see. Let me scroll down here. I thought I saw... I did. Brooke Louie. I did see Brooke Louie. It's great to see Brooke here in the chat room as well. And yes, Brooke did buy the advanced screening perk. Really awesome, Brooke. Can't wait to see you in the chat room. And also, too, a reminder, again, I said this, but I got to say it again. If you are camera shy, you're like, oh, fuck, I would really like to buy that. Like, I'd really like to do that, but I don't want to be in a chat. I'm on Zoom. People are seeing me. And you don't have to. You can be in the chat room, but just have an avatar up, and you don't even have to talk. I mean, with 50 people in the room, I'm sure, if you're quiet and don't say anything and you're just, listening and observing and just watching everybody, you can do that too. You don't have to say much. It would just be great to have everybody there. Of course, if you want to show your face and talk, we encourage that because in case you haven't noticed, we never shut up. Or at least I never do. Let me see here. A couple of super chats did come in here. We got Patrick Anderson and David Lee Barron. Patrick Anderson sends in a $4.99 super chat and says, my fiance let me use funds for our wedding in 2 months for the Two Dudes package. She knows this is important to us fans, Dave, Bruce, and actors. Patrick, that's amazing. That is awesome, dude. Tell your fiance she is amazing. Happy wife, happy life. I'm just saying, a little bit of advice. That is amazing. That is amazing. Awesome. It's going to be great to have you on. Yeah, there's a couple people that have already picked up the Two Dudes perk. And the Two Dudes perk, of course, is you get to come on Two Dudes and Some Bullshit. So instead of it being Two Dudes and Some Bullshit, for that particular episode, it'll be Three Dudes and Some Bullshit. And you get to be on the screen with us and interact with us, and we watch a movie and answer questions from the audience. So that's awesome too. Now, when we will start, because that's a digital perk and it doesn't require shipping, of course, there are some things you do get with that perk as well that do require shipping, but that part of the perk, the main perk, I'm not sure when we'll start honoring that yet. I do know that the Mcrae Live and the Two Dudes, we were thinking about maybe beginning to honor that in the fall at some point, but it really all depends on how busy things get with It's Me, Billy. So it may be like really early next year when things have kind of died down a bit. We're in that slow kind of, the holidays are over, January is here. Maybe that might be a really good time where we can start sort of getting people on and all that kind of shit. So I can't promise anything, but I will definitely, it's going to happen 100%. And I will definitely keep you guys posted to when we start sort of rolling that out. It's going to be so much fun. It's going to be amazing. And David Lee Barron says, but Dave, I got to play that for you. That's right. Where is that? Here we go. But Dave, I love it. Donald Pleasant said that Halloween 5 is rubbish. He did. Yes, he did. He said, yeah. Oh yeah. He said it was rubbish. Yeah, that's right. I thought there was something else he said. But it might've just been rubbish. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, well, because it is. And he knew it. He knew it. David and Abby's Movie Massacre, I love it, says, are you going to do another Billy-a-thon? Yes, I think Bruce and I are. I'm getting together with Bruce on Sunday. He's coming over to my place where we have to continue working on our shot list. So there's a lot of things on the table there. There's a lot of things we're going to be discussing that day. And the Billy-a-thon will be one of them. We did discuss it the last time we were together, and we agreed that it's something we want to do again. I'm just not quite sure when. Hope maybe, yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe in September, but you'll know if and when we do. Super chat from Dreed Mem 77. Am I saying that right? I think I am. Dave, is it safe to say that with the deposits to be made from the Gabriel-a-thon, the short film is a go since you'll be at 49,000? Well, again, that's 49,000 before Indiegogo takes their percentage. So it'll drop a little bit, but we're in a good spot. Yes, I can't confirm that. It'll only be confirmed when we confirm it. But let's just say if we can get to 50 and cross 50, if we can cross 50, total, what you see there, and we start moving into the 50s, yeah, Yeah, we're getting there. Yep. Yep, for sure. I don't want to say too much right now, but yes, it's coming. It's coming. You can see the light at the tunnel. You can see it like you can see the finish line. You can see you can see it's there. It's there. Yes. Edwin Sordo says, "Hey Dave, do you have to use all the money that's been funded once the campaign is done?" Well, how budgets work, Edwin, is that if you do it right, if you do it properly, of course, budgets are not arbitrary numbers. They are numbers based on facts. So on prices and price points of what we need to make it a reality. So all the money raised will be used towards the project, whether that's locations, whether it's cast and crew, whether it's lighting and grip, whether it's, production insurance, whether it's COVID-19 protocols, whether it's, food, accommodations, travel, insurance for all the vehicles, distribution of all the perks, it will all be used, because when we make our budget and we look at the Indiegogo campaign and we look at, the costs of production insurance and the location and the rentals, and we come up with a number based on that. Now, it's always a ballpark number, but it's not like we need 60,000, but we could really make this movie for 25. That's not how it works. You know what I mean? We need 60,000, but maybe we end up making it for 58,000. You know what I mean? And then that other $2,000 can go towards perks. You know what I mean? Because the perks cost a lot too. You got to make all the t-shirts and the hats and the Blu-rays and you got to make all that. Then you have to ship them to everybody and the posters. And so, it will all be used. So the more money, the better. Let's just say that. But to be transparent, oh yeah, it will be used because it's not an arbitrary number. It's based on what we need to complete the vision. John Case sends in a $1.99 super chat. Says, Dave, you heard of the famous model Lucy Pinder? Or Pinder? Pinder, maybe? No, I haven't. At least I don't recognize the name. Maybe I know the face? Don't know. Darren Sand sends in a £5 super chat. Thank you, Darren. Says, Dave, check out the album, The Pleasoning. Oh, the Pleasancing. Okay, let me see if maliciousness, plumbing, fixtures. Oh, no. Dr. Sam Loomis, hang on. I'm going to Google this. I'm totally butchering this. One sec. Let me just Google this because I want to see what this album is. The Pleasancing. I love it. The Pleasant. I'm just looking it up. It's funny. That's so... Hang on. Okay. Oh, yeah. The maliciousness. Why did I say that? Seeing it on... It's so funny. Sometimes I look at super chats and I'll see words, and I think maybe it's because of the color behind it or the chat room. And then when I bring it up big on my screen, I'm like, oh, yeah. Miscellaneous, not maliciousness. Maliciousness. Everybody in the chat must have been like, maliciousness? Can he fucking read? Miscellaneous plumbing fixtures. Fucking funny. Okay, I'm going to check this out, Darren. And see and see what this is, because track 3 is Dr. Sam Loomis's Lament. Okay, can I YouTube this? Wait. Maliciousness, miscellaneous. Where the fuck is YouTube? Come here. 1 second. I just want to look this up. It's got to be on YouTube, right? Okay, I went to their YouTube channel and I'm looking for, wait a second here. Am I looking for Dr. Sam Loomis? Okay, let me take this and look that up too. Sorry guys, I got to do this because this is probably gonna be really dun, dun, dun. Okay, I got it. I'm playing it right now. You guys won't be able to hear this, but I love the thumbnail. Miscellaneous plumbing fixtures present the Pleasancing. I love the music. Hang on, I'm just gonna... Okay, I'm gonna listen to this when the show is done. Darren, thank you so much. Thank you so much for sending that. Okay, yeah. Miscellaneous plumbing fixtures, Dr. Sam Loomis. The Pleasancing. The Pleasancing. Thank you, Darren. Yes. And yes, no, that does not say, kids, do not spell malicious that way. I was having a brain fart, and I think it's, yeah, sometimes I read words incorrectly because of the, I don't know what, maybe I need to bring it up bigger. Maybe that's it. Oh, I am sitting at 75%. Let me make it 100%. There we go. That's better. That's better. It could just be because it's small and I'm reading things fast. Slow down, as my teacher used to say. Let me see here. Jason Nike sends in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Jason. Says, after editing my own videos, I can't imagine editing a real film. The details of everything really fun, though. It takes a lot, man. It does take a lot. It's intense. It's intense. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. Frank Riker says, Dave, you're not writing the It's Me, Billy script, are you? That's right. That's right. I know. Yeah, that wouldn't, that certainly wouldn't sell anybody on it, right? It's like, is he on crack or something? What the hell is it? What's going on? Have you ever had that happen though, where like you'll look at a word and you'll be like, and then, well, I don't know if the average person then brings it up bigger, but whenever I see a word and I'm like, and then I bring it up on my 32, because I have a 32-inch monitor. For whatever reason, I'm like, oh, yeah, no, miscellaneous. Right. I don't know. I'm going to blame the size of the font. That's what I'm going to blame. Yeah. All right, here we go. Jason Case says, please Google Lucy Pinder or Pinder. I'm going to say it's Pinder. Lucy Pinder. Yeah, it's got to be Pinder. All right, let's do it. Let me Google. Now, folks, don't get me to try to Google everything right now. I'm just doing this. Okay, I see her. Lucy Pinder. She's an English actress, television personality, and former glamour model. Okay. She's very pretty. So what do you want my thoughts on in regards to Lucy? Let me know. Darren Sand says, Edwin Sordo, believe it or not, I found it after Googling Adrienne Barbeau's album. Oh, cool. Well, I started to hear a bit of it, and Darren, I know I'm going to find it hilarious. So thank you for sending it that way. Thank you. I appreciate that. The Pleasancing. I love it. The Pleasancing. At first I was like, the Pleasancing? And then I'm like, oh, no, wait. No, the Pleasancing. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was an awful audition for any sort of literate ability that I may or may not have. Freshy Thrashy says, Dave, how about a reimagining of Halloween with the bandaged Michael mask from H4? A new story, characters, and bleak atmosphere, filmed in the style of the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Well, I mean, you're essentially, I think, okay, but it's a reimagining, like you said, right? It's a complete reimagining of, I don't think people would be happy about that. I don't think, because there's a very specific DNA that Halloween has, and I think people would just start saying this is just like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. And we sort of got that. I mean, minus the mask, but we already got sort of a Texas Chainsaw Massacre-ish feel with Rob Zombie's films. A little. I mean, I know it doesn't take place in Texas, but I think you know what I'm talking about. Let me see here. I don't think I missed any super chats. I don't think so, no. David Petway says, hey, Dave, how do you think Michael got into Annie's car in the original? Was it a supernatural type thing, or did someone at Smith's Grove give him lessons at picking locks? I think maybe Annie's side of the car was locked, but the passenger side on the other side wasn't. There you go. I mean, the driver's side was locked, but the passenger side wasn't. Because, she just locked her own, maybe that was it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't care. Because we don't need to know. That's part of the mystique of the character, right? It's part of the mystique of the character. Real Reveal sends in a super chat, says, "Hi, Dave. Hi, Real. How you doing? Hope you're doing well." David Cameron says, "Dave, will you erect a temporary Foley stage or studio to record the Foley for your featured short film, Billy?" No, don't need to do that because we can capture Foley while we're on location. That's a smart, so doors opening, doors closing, dead air, wind, outside, inside, room tone is what it's called. So our sound operator will just record a minute of room tone over the boom mic, things like that. But also I have a library. I'm not making this up. I have a library of about 10,000 effects. And I don't mean like cheap shit. I mean like professional grade stuff that has all that too. So if there's anything we need to ADR in terms of room tone or, wind and a bird, a crow, all that kind of stuff, we're set with that. There would be no reason to have a Foley stage. Certainly not for our film. So no, I will not do that. Aaron Click says he was probably already in the car and locked it to mess with her. There you go. Maybe she didn't lock the car initially and he got in and locked the car. Who knows? Nathan A says, "Are you a fan of Hellraiser? Pinhead is a horror icon. Maybe a commentary?" I'm not a fan of Hellraiser, but I'm not a fan of Hellraiser. Hellraiser is one of those horror icons that didn't really resonate with me as a kid. Freddy, yes. Michael, yes. Jason, yes. But Hellraiser was one of those ones that I never really got into. I think maybe towards the late 80s, I was kind of already out. Because what was the first Hellraiser? Google, what year was the first Hellraiser movie? 87. Hey, Google, what year was the first Hellraiser movie?
Hellraiser was released on September 11th, 1987 in the United Kingdom.
I was right, 87. So it was 1987 in the United Kingdom. And so it may have been 88 maybe in the US, I'm not sure. So by that time, like I've always said, the slasher subgenre was on its downward trajectory. So by 88, I was 9. And, I was kind of, I don't know what I was into in 89 or 88. But I sort of because I got into horror films and slashers so young, because I also have older siblings, right? My brother Neil, as I've often said, he's 9 years older than me. So, when I was, 4, he would have been 13. So he was really into Halloween and Elm Street and that kind of stuff. I remember he had a friend in school, I forget his friend's name, he probably remembers, who was great at drawing. And he got his friend to draw a cartoon of Freddy for me. And this is back when it was, the big deal, right? And so I got into Freddy and Michael and Jason probably when I was 4. And so, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. By the time I was almost 10, it's not that I wasn't into them, but I was already in recycle mode at that point. I was watching all the older stuff and I was watching a lot of the same. And Hellraiser was, I got into Chucky, I didn't get into. I liked Chucky when it came out in 88, but Hellraiser was just one that I didn't, I was aware of it, but I was kind of I was already, I don't know, maybe sort of set in my ways at that, but I don't know. I've seen the first one. I haven't seen any of the others. I've seen the first one and it's all right. It's cool. I like it. I like the character a lot. And there's a lot of layers in that too, which is kind of cool. But I don't know if I'll talk about it on here. Maybe Tony and I might do a 2 dudes on it. Maybe we'll see. We'll see what happens. Not 100% sure, but we'll see. Darren Sand says, you were watching Elf marathons. Yes. That's it. Yeah, from 86 to 90, I was checked out. That's not entirely true. Elf, I love Elf. Oh, I love Elf. Every Monday night at 8 o'clock on NBC. And I taped it too. Like I have VHS tapes, probably about 7 or 8 of them, full of just Elf episodes. And there weren't a lot of Elf episodes. Like I think he barely made it to 100 episodes, if I'm not mistaken, because you got to get to 100 episodes to go into syndication. At least that's what it used to be, I think. Maybe he made it to 100. Although that can't be entirely true because it would depend. It would depend because Star Trek obviously didn't make it to 100. I think they only had like 70 something episodes and they're in syndication, but it's different. It's different. Anyway, maybe it was 90 episodes. I don't even know if they made it to 100 or if Elf did, it was 101. Hey, Google, how many episodes of Elf are there? I want to say like 100.
102 episodes.
102 episodes. I was close. I said 101. 102 episodes. Okay, so yeah, so they made it into syndication. And so yeah, I have every, like now of course I have them on DVD. But what's really shitty about it is that when they released Elf on DVD, they released the syndicated versions of Elf. And when Elf went into syndication, they would cut certain things out for time. And it was really fucking annoying. So there's a lot of Elf, and Elf isn't the only one that, that they've done that with. But when you watch Elf on DVD, because I don't think it's released on Blu-ray, I think it's just DVD. When you watch it, like there are some, like I have memories of some things from the Elf episodes that I have on my VHS tapes because I taped them when they were actually airing that don't appear on the DVDs. And I'll be watching it and I'll be like, where the fuck is that last like 5 minutes of that fucking show? Where the hell is the moment when Elf walks? Where the hell is that? It was cut. It was cut. It doesn't appear. So really disappointing about that. Because yeah, like I think there's the scene, the episode where Elf and Lynn, I'm going like full on sweaty nerd here into Elf. I'm sure there are people in the chat room going, and click away. There's probably some people like, what the fuck is Elf? So the episode, it was in the first season where Elf and Lynn sing, Proud Mary, keep on burning. Oh no, Proud Mary, keep on rolling, rolling, rolling on the river, or whatever it is. That was either cut or shortened because they didn't have the rights to use it on the DVDs. And the episode where he sings like Help Me Rhonda or something like that, because his girlfriend back on Melmac was Rhonda. There's an episode where he's singing Help Me Rhonda. That was axed because they didn't have the right. Like, it's just, I get it. Like, I understand why. But that's the only disappointing thing about the DVDs is that there's some things that don't appear, which is disappointing. So, yeah, Darren's right. I was definitely watching Elf. Let me see. Okay, let me see here. We'll go for a few more minutes. Then I got to skedaddle. Let me just make sure I'm not missing any super chats. Real Reveal was the last one. Jason Case does send in a super chat. There are some here. Jason Case. Oh, okay. I see them. Balboa says, thank you, Balboa says, Dave, do you do Happy Days again, please? That was fun. That was a lot of fun. It's on my channel. I don't need to do it again. Jason K sends a super chat and says, I wanted you to say what you think of her body. What I think of her body? What I think of Lucy Pinder's body? Well, if she looks attractive. She's a model, so she probably has a nice body. Yeah, I guess she has a nice body, I guess. I mean, she's stereotypically attractive. So I guess she has a nice body because she's a model. Most models do. So there you go. Let me see. Real Reveal says, any updates on the Lynn perk? Please bring it back. I don't know if that will come back. I don't know. I can't promise anything. Lynn, of course, we have to remember that she's making them, and she's signing them, and it would all depend if she wants to do that. If she wants to do it, then some more might go back up. But I want to be very mindful of Lynn's time because she's donating her time as well. So I want to be mindful of that and leave it up to Lynn. So, but yeah, they went like hotcakes because that's pretty darn cool. Lynn, can I just say, is Lynn Griffin not one of the most adorable human beings you've ever seen in your life? I mean, she is, not only is she professional, classy, but she is just a hoot to talk to, and so much experience. You know, the really cool thing about talking to people like Lynn, or you know, certain people like that who are not A-list stars, they never achieved A-list status, but you don't have to achieve A-list status and become somebody like a Tom Hanks or a Meryl Streep to have a wealth of information and experience in the entertainment industry, and stories and parts and impact on certain fractions of pop culture. And I mean, listen, Lynn's, you know, I mean, nobody would have known this, of course, but like I said to her on the show, you know, I mean, you were in the movie for all of maybe 15 minutes alive, but your character is not only a symbol of that movie, but a symbol of horror. I mean, how ironic is that? It's so fleeting. It's almost like Judith Myers in some way, right? You know what I mean? So, pretty cool indeed. But I mean, the people she's worked with and got to talk to, and the experience she has. I mean, when we talk, because we talked on the phone for about an hour the other day as we were getting acquainted, and that's where, you know, I discovered, oh, we have the same agent. It's the same voiceover agent we have. Lynn has an on-camera agent as well, who is her sister. But we have the same voiceover agent, which is Jude Foster down at Foster Talent in Toronto, which is really cool. Because when I said to her, you know, oh, Jude Foster, you know, Jude Foster's my agent, you know, for animation, blah, blah. And she was like, oh, she's mine too. And I was like, oh, that's crazy. Sometimes the entertainment world can be small, folks. Just saying. So when she told me like things like, oh, well, when I first moved to LA and my then husband and I, we bought a house that used to belong to John Carpenter and Adrienne Barbeau, and, you know, Nancy Kyes and Tommy Lee Wallace were married at the time, and we were really good friends and hanging out. Like, that's fucking cool shit. That's cool shit. And I was like, you got to talk about that. You got to talk about it. She's like, oh, absolutely. You know what I mean? So, you know, sometimes you get really insightful things because she's had a long career doing stage, theater, and voiceover, and it's really cool to get those little tidbits of information that, you know, that are so meaningful and really darn amazing. And I can't wait to have her back. I can't wait to have her back. After we ended the show, we talked for maybe another 20 minutes or so, and she definitely said that she will come back on the show. So Lynn, if you're watching, you are more than welcome to come back on the show. It would be great to have you. And because, I mean, we probably just touched the tip of the iceberg in some of the things that Lynn could talk about, some of the stories that she has and experience and stuff. And I want her to talk about that stuff. It's just so darn fucking cool. Just so cool indeed. Holly Klein says the interview with Lynn was great. I know, she's such a gem. Tabitha Short says Lynn probably thought that she was moving into Carpenter's house wasn't going to be a cool fact. Oh, it was totally cool. Yeah, no, and I said that to her as well. I said, Lynn, you've got to mention this. I said, because my viewers are going to eat this up. They're going to eat that up. Like, that's a cool little thing that not a lot of people know about. You know what I mean? And it's another Black Christmas, Halloween sort of kind of funky connection. You know what I mean? That's kind of funky, man. That's kind of funky. Brooke Louie sends in a super chat. Thank you so much, Brooke, and says, glad I actually made it to alive. Finally. I agree. Thank you for always pronouncing my last name correctly. Yes, Louie, but I really went to town on miscellaneous earlier. I don't know what happened there. You won't believe how hard it is for people. Well, you know what did it for me is that, do you remember when I wasn't pronouncing it right, sort of when you first started to watch and chat in the chat room, and then you said, no, it's Louie. I was like, oh yes. You want to know why? Because there's a girl I went to high school with. There was an Asian girl I went to high school with named Crystal Louie, and she spelled her last name the exact same way. So now whenever I see your name, I think of, oh, okay, it's Brooke Louie. So that kind of has helped me. Yeah. And no problem at all. No problem at all. Yes, I can at least get that right for butchering, pleasancing, and miscellaneous. The Film Addict says, hey, Dave, are you looking forward to the Batman teaser tomorrow? Also, have you seen The Lighthouse? I have seen The Lighthouse, and I really liked The Lighthouse. I thought it was great. Yes. Well, it's a teaser, so, who knows what we'll see. But yes, I am much more looking forward. I got to be honest with you. I am much more looking forward to the Batman teaser than anything to do with the Snyder Cut. I just got to say it. I got to be honest. Now, I will watch anything they dish out that is the Snyder Cut, of course. But I couldn't care less whether they released a Snyder Cut or not. I don't care. But the Batman, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I'm in. Pattinson, yeah, I'm in. You know what I mean? Matt Reeves, I'm in. So, we'll see. Frank Riker says 48% on my battery, Dave. You actually have me beat. This time it's 49%. You guys, is that the cue? Dave, time to wrap it up. Time to wrap it up, Davey boy. Frank Riker says, for all the sexy MFers in the chat. That's right. I love that Frank does that. Thank you so much, Frank. Really appreciate that. Yeah, that is going to do it for me. Let's do it, because that's a nice sort of spot to end there, because actually I got to grab some lunch, and then I got some VO work I have to do this afternoon. So thank you so much for everybody for tuning in for this Mcrae Live, this Q&A Friday. I appreciate all of the super chats, of course, and the non-super chats I appreciate as well. Again, like I always say, if I don't answer your question because I was spending a lot of time on the super chats, it's probably because there were a lot of them that came in. Remember, it's never personal. I think you guys are amazing. I think you guys are awesome, and I'm here several days a week. So try back again. Try back again, and maybe I will answer it. So do not fret. Do not fret. I will be back on Monday night on Two Dudes and Some Bullshit at 7:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tony and I are watching the Amityville Horror from 1979. I think it's 79. Yeah, I want to say 78, but it's 79. We're watching that one, so that's going to be fun. That's going to be a good one indeed. And don't forget, folks, Indiegogo campaign is up. Let's just do one last little thing here. One last little quick run through of what is there. Let's refresh the page and see how we're doing. We're going to refresh. Where's my little cursor here? Where are we? There we are. Wait, there we are. There. Okay, we're going to refresh the page and see where we are. I guess we're still the same. We are still the same. Cool. All right, so we're at 46,174. But folks, like I said, check out this awesome perk down here, the advanced screening perk. If you have not got it and you want to get it, this is your opportunity to see It's Me, Billy before anybody else. 11 people have taken it out of 50. Let's see if we can get that as close to 50 as possible. 225 Canadian. That's about 170 US. This is a great... Where are we here? There we go. This is a great price point. You also get a special thanks in the end credits, the digital download package, the Blu-ray, the official poster, 24x36, and an IMDb special thanks credit on IMDb, I should say. So, pretty cool. You're going to get to watch the movie with myself and Bruce and the cast and crew over Zoom. There's a Q&A afterwards. We're all going to be hanging out, talking It's Me, Billy, watching the movie. It'll probably be next spring, May or June, if everything goes as planned. So check that out. Really appreciate it. And again, thank you to my moderators, Frank Riker, Tabitha Short, Darren Sands, and Jason Knight for doing what you do. Really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. And thanks to everybody for tuning in. So in the meantime and in between time, I will talk to you guys soon. Alrighty. Cheers.